Right. Okay, now we're rolling. Okay. Okay, the first of three presentations before lunch is Fire Extinguishers, and Chief Elkenick is going to take that over. I think, do we have our technological, is that working with the changing of the slides? You're on top.
All set.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Good morning. I've got a quick video for you all to watch, but I have a few questions first. How many people know where the nearest fire extinguisher is to their normal workstation? Okay, I see roughly 25% of the people raising their hands, maybe 30. Our goal next year is to get over 50, and we'll be working with you guys on that as well. Housekeeping is an extremely important part of fire safety, so keep your workstations relatively neat, clean. A lot of times we go to a scene of a fire, a small fire, big fire, whatever, you can usually tell where the fire started. It's not usually all that hard to figure out why. So we've got a brief video to watch. It's about 15 minutes, and then we also have a prop outside for anybody that wants to try actually using an extinguisher on real fire. So with that, Grant, go ahead and play that.
Extinguishers can be effective firefighting tools when properly used during the early stages of a fire. But the safety of the operator and others affected by the fire should be a primary concern. Call the fire department first and make sure an evacuation is in progress. Approach the fire cautiously and always keep a clear escape route behind you. If the fire is too large or spreading rapidly, or if wind or heavy smoke make fighting the fire dangerous, get away and let firefighters handle it. The extinguishers in your workplace are labeled for the class or classes of fire they're designed to fight. Each class of fire is designated by a pictograph and a letter of the alphabet. On some labels, the pictograph will warn not to use the extinguisher on a particular class of fire. Class A fires involve ordinary combustible materials, such as wood, paper, cardboard, and many plastics. Class B fires involve flammable liquids and gases, such as gasoline, fuel oil, and petroleum-based grease, as well as gases such as propane or butane. Class C designates a fire involving anything that is electrically energized, for example, motors, appliances, or other types of electrical equipment. Class D fires occur in combustible metals, such as magnesium, lithium, and potassium. And a Class K fire involves combustible cooking oils or fats used in commercial cooking appliances. An extinguisher intended for one class of fire may not work on another class. For example, trying to fight a gasoline fire with a stream of water may only spread the fire, making it more dangerous and more difficult to control. Some extinguishers are designed for more than one class of fire. For example, this dry chemical extinguisher, which is classified for A, B, and C fires. But no extinguisher is designed to work on all classes of fires. Extinguisher agents are substances that, when properly applied, can control or extinguish a fire. For example, water is effective on ordinary solid combustibles, called Class A fires. Water extinguishers can be used to thoroughly soak burning materials and extinguish deep-seated fires. Carbon dioxide is designed for Class B or C fires. It discharges as a gas and dissipates quickly without leaving a residue. Multi-purpose dry chemical agents are effective on Class A, B, and C fires. They work by interfering with the chemical chain reaction of fire. Halogenated agents also are effective on A, B, or C type fires. These are considered clean agents. Although it discharges as a liquid stream, the agent quickly evaporates and leaves no residue.
squeeze this top lever.
The best time to learn the basic procedures for handling and operating portable extinguishers is before a fire emergency. Make note of the location of the fire extinguishers in your workplace. If your access to any of them is blocked, clear a path.
And this one, it's a little bit heavier. It's not
Some extinguishers are heavy. Make sure you are capable of lifting the extinguisher and that you know how to operate its discharge mechanism. Practice holding the extinguisher until it feels comfortable and you can maneuver and use your hands effectively. The techniques vary slightly for using each type of extinguisher, but the basic steps are the same. Pull the ring pin. Aim at the base of the fire. Squeeze the operating lever. And sweep the nozzle from side to side so the burning material is completely covered. Remember pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Always start at the maximum effective range indicated on the label. Starting too close could be dangerous if the fire flares up or the pressure of the discharge causes the fuel to spread. Beyond the recommended range, an extinguisher may not be effective against the fire. Try to get upwind of a fire. This will reduce your exposure to smoke and heat, and it will help assure that the maximum amount of agent reaches the fire. To fight a Class A fire with a water extinguisher, pull the ring pin, breaking the seal. Hold the nozzle in one hand. Aim it at the base of the fire. Squeeze the operating lever and sweep. Start operating the extinguisher from a safe distance. Water extinguishers have a range of 30 to 40 feet. As you fight the fire, move around to reach all parts of the fire, keeping away from the fire and smoke. As the agent begins to be effective and the fire diminishes, move in closer. When the fire is under control, use your finger or thumb to create a spray. When the fire is extinguished, separate the materials with a rake or stick. To prevent the fire from rekindling, continue to soak the debris until the extinguisher is empty. This type of pressurized water extinguisher will empty in about 1 minute. Dry chemical extinguishers are rated for A, B, and C classes of fire, or classes B and C. They are available in a wide variety of sizes designed for different uses. There are two types of dry chemical extinguishers. In the first, the agent is stored under pressure. In the second, a replaceable cartridge contains the propellant. To operate the stored pressure design, pull the ring pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the lever, and sweep. Begin at the leading edge of the fire and continue to sweep until the agent completely covers the surface of the burning material. With a cartridge-operated extinguisher, you must push down on the cartridge puncturing lever to pressurize the extinguisher. Then aim, squeeze, and sweep. Start discharging a dry chemical extinguisher from a safe distance. As the fire diminishes, move closer. Because dry chemical agents are discharged as a fine powder, they can be diverted by wind. Keep the wind at your back so your breathing and visibility are not affected. Multi-purpose dry chemicals do not penetrate the surface of ordinary combustibles. You may need to use a tool or stick to separate the fuels before you can fully extinguish the fire. If any extinguishing agent is left, stand by in case the fire rekindles. When using a dry chemical extinguisher on a burning flammable liquid, start from the front edge of the fire and sweep back and forth. Continue until you have spread the agent beyond the back edge of the fire. If there is any type of obstruction between you and the source of the fire, adjust your position so you can direct the agent to all parts of the fire. Dry chemical extinguishers are also rated for Class C fires. Never try to extinguish a Class C fire with water or any extinguishing agent that is electrically conductive. It can create a serious shock hazard. Whenever energized electrical equipment is involved in the fire, or other burning material is close to an energized source, a C-rated extinguisher should be used. As soon as possible, turn off the power to prevent reignition. Because the agent does not conduct electricity, these extinguishers are safe to use on energized electrical equipment. Foam works on both Class A and B fires. Foam extinguishers are designed for use on flammable liquid fires or spills. The foam should be applied in a way that blankets the surface to prevent oxygen from combining with the fuel. To operate foam extinguishers, pull the ring pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the operating lever, and sweep. Foam extinguishers empty in about 1 minute. They are most effective at a range of 10 to 15 feet. Start at the recommended safe distance and move closer as the fire is brought under control. To extinguish a flammable liquid fire with foam, apply the agent across the top of the fuel, not directly down into it, which could disperse the fuel and make the fire worse. The object is to avoid disturbing the surface of the fuel as much as possible, which would cause more vapors to be released and intensify the fire. As the fire diminishes, stop the stream of foam periodically so the agent can form a solid blanket, completely sealing the fuel and preventing reignition. If the fire is in a container, you may be able to aim the spray against the inside edge. This gently spreads the foam back over the fire. An object in the burning liquid may also be used to deflect the foam spray onto the liquid surface. Another use of foam is to cover an unignited flammable liquid spill to prevent vapors from reaching a source of ignition. Apply the foam in a way that achieves maximum coverage quickly without further dispersing the fuel. Allow the foam blanket to settle and seal itself. Carbon dioxide stops combustion by displacing the oxygen around a fire. Avoid using carbon dioxide extinguishers in enclosed spaces. CO2 reduces the amount of oxygen in the air which you need to breathe. The range of a carbon dioxide extinguisher is short, only 3 to 8 feet. CO2 is not effective in strong air currents because wind can disperse the firefighting agent before it reaches the fire. Carbon dioxide extinguishers come in 2 types. On the smaller units, a swiveling plastic horn is raised into position before use. On the larger units, a combination of flexible hose and rigid plastic horn is used to apply the agent. To operate the smaller type, pull the ring pin, raise the horn, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the lever, sweep the agent from side to side. To operate the larger type, remove the ring pin, hold the handle, squeeze the operating lever, and sweep. The longer horn and larger capacity of this unit makes it more effective against larger fires, but its range is still limited, and its effectiveness can be significantly affected by wind. Carbon dioxide works by stopping oxygen from getting to the fire, but it may not cool the fuel enough to prevent it from reigniting. Don't approach the fire unless it is completely out and thoroughly cooled. Be alert for a rekindle. If necessary, apply more CO2 until the fire is out. Extinguishers containing halogenated agents are classified for A, B, or C fires. These agents interrupt the chemical chain reaction of fire. They do not leave a residue, so are often referred to as clean agents. Class D agents are specific to the type of metal involved, so be sure your extinguisher is listed and appropriate for the hazard. Metal fires can be volatile. Always start at the recommended safe distance and continue to blanket the fire after it goes out to prevent it from reigniting. Class D extinguishers are designed for combustible metal fires. The dry powder agent used in Class D units is not the same as the multi-purpose dry chemical agent used in ABC type extinguishers, which is not intended to be used on metal fires. In commercial cooking locations where a fixed fire suppression system is installed, Use of a Class K extinguisher should always be secondary to operation of the system. The agent should be applied from the recommended safe starting distance. Move closer only after the agent begins to suppress the fire. Even after the fire appears to be out, continue to discharge the extinguisher until it is empty. Class K extinguishers use a wet chemical agent that reacts with cooking oils to create a heavy foam blanket, isolating the fuel from the air and preventing reignition. Fighting any fire will require judgment and tactics specific to the situation. In some cases, it may be necessary to coordinate your efforts with other members of a team, or you may need to use more than one extinguisher. The more extinguishers you can organize, the more successful you will be. But in every fire situation, the safety of each team member should be the highest priority. A concentration of combustible materials may create a fire with a large amount of smoke, which will reduce visibility and create toxic fumes. Always stay upwind of a fire when using an extinguisher. Indoors, always have a clear exit behind you and never enter tightly enclosed or unventilated space to fight a fire. If you are not able to extinguish the fire completely, you may be able to suppress it or keep it from spreading until help arrives. With knowledge and training, everyone can be prepared for a fire emergency. But always sound the alarm first. Make sure the fire department has been called and people are evacuated. Attempt to fight only those fires for which your training and experience are appropriate, providing you can do so safely without taking unnecessary risks. Keep a clear escape route behind you. Remember the pass technique and make sure the fire is completely out. If you are inexperienced or unsure of your ability, follow the evacuation procedures of your workplace. Fire extinguishers can be an effective first line of defense against fire, but only if the fire is discovered by a person who is ready, willing, and able to use it.
You can all be sure that the fire extinguishers in your workspaces are appropriate for what you would need them for. So don't get too hung up on the type of extinguisher you have and what you're fighting the fire for. It's all been carefully planned out to have the right extinguisher for your space. With that, we have a prop set up outside. If anyone would like to try to put out a fire appropriately, we'll teach you how, and you'll get to see what it feels like. We don't have a whole lot of time, so let's get out there. If anybody wants to take part.